Good morning from Johannesburg. We are here today with a very special guest, the COO and co-founder of Geek Culture, Mr. Tiyani Ngonyama. Tiyani.
Wow, you just called me Master.
Welcome to the CompTIA brand new studio.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Thank you for having me, and greetings to everyone.
Thank you so much for making time in your exceptionally busy schedule. I know it's been a while. We've been trying to get together since after the IT Web Security Summit.
Oh, yes.
And we haven't been able to catch you on a good moment. So thank you so much for coming, and really nice to see you again.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the engagement. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Tiyani. Tiyani, tell us a little bit about Geek Culture and what you do.
All right, so Geek Culture is formed in two words, geek plus culture. So essentially we build a culture of geeks, a culture of young technology professionals, getting young people to master their craft. But essentially we create and enable platforms for innovation and creativity, bringing that tech enlightenment and excitation, making tech fun, but also about creating solutions that matters. Yeah.
So I know that you are very hands-on C-suite executive. So tell us a little bit about what you do, because as I say, I've seen you very hands-on.
Yeah, funny thing about that, we told ourselves as the directors of Geek Culture, myself and Misho, that we must never ever shy away from being on the ground. And that is fundamentally because Geek Culture is a community first. We are a community of young geeks across the continent. We believe in ensuring that, the craftsmanship in terms of building the skills and also enabling those platforms really need some kind of art. And that art, that is what we embrace and wanted to live upon. It's always not easy to be hands-on, but you want to be where the action is. You want to be where the things are happening. You want to be part of that change, and Geek Culture just brings that excitement onto us.
You literally change lives of young people every day. And what I love most about Geek Culture is it's not just in the big cities. And tell us a little bit more about, where you are active, because I know it's all over the country. We saw last year at the IT Web Security Summit, when you did the hackathon, that these kids come from all over the country.
Yeah. So we had to structure Geek Culture to be that platform that also monitors and nurture transitions of being, a high school learner to tertiary, to the job market. But the element of inclusivity was quite crucial as well. And that notion of always being on the ground, we had to also live by it. And we've created models in all parts of the country to be able to say that, let's localize and also contextualize this Geek Culture we're talking about. Like in the Northern Cape, for example, we've got a very strong presence there. And it was quite important there to also look at, you cannot just bring what's in Gauteng and adapt it to that community. You need to bring programs there. And one of my favorite things there was the interest in maths and science was not quite high, but they loved skateboarding. So I had to create a program called Skate Hacks, combining technology with the skateboarding, where we'll literally go to skate parks and set up stations. We give them Arduinos, we give them laptops where they are building apps, putting sensors into skateboards, and being able to get data from there. That was quite exciting because we actually got to partner with the Skateboarding World Championships, and we went to several skate parks, and we actually also got to 3D print the skateboards, and it was, yeah. So we are really about, making technology exciting to young people, but bringing meaning so that they are able to see, and also make it be relatable so that they can start to realize pathways towards their developmental goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So clearly you work across all boards. It's schools, it's colleges, universities, communities.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is your most exciting project that you either have worked on this year or currently busy working on? Tell us a little bit more.
All right. So this year has been quite exciting, actually. We have done a number of projects, mostly about, helping enhance education in communities. But I will be called into DC if I didn't mention that the Gig Culture Annual Hackathon was really one of the most exciting projects this year as well, because we had about 260 young technologies together. And because we started working with CompTIA this year, we actually invited Dr. James Denga to give an international keynote address as part of that. Government was part of that hackathon, academia, industry. It was just so exciting to see young technologists from different parts of the country, from villages, being able to come together and say that we want to hack the future. So that was one of the exciting projects this year. But obviously, there are so many things that we're constantly doing. One of the projects that is close to my heart, that is still coming, is happening in December, where we're saying hack my kasi. So hack my lokasi,
Okay. I wasn't sure what the word was.
Yeah, so kasi is basically it's a term that is described your township, even rural, and we're bringing together this program where developers, innovators will be able to use mapping intelligence to help enhance services, to help make it easy to do business in the township, to help protect the environment as well. So we're looking at issues of wetlands, we're looking at climate change and things like that. So how do you use the power of spatial data, bringing in spatial intelligence to be able to create solutions that will help enable better lives?
Okay. So when you do this in a specific area or township, do you use local kids to help with it, or the community to help, and they work together with your team?
Yes. So we are big on collaboration. So we've been very strategic in these kinds of partnerships. One such partnership is with the Human Sciences Research Council of South Africa. So there's the social scientists, and then you have got academia as part of it, researchers, you have got even corporate coming together to be able to asset resources, to be able to bring in the knowledge together. But these kinds of programs always involve the people that basically live there. And we'll be launching registration soon for that. And because with almost all these tech programs, you always want to have user groups, people who are able to say that we have lived these experiences and these affect our lives, and we can be able to tell you better in terms of that. But one of the crucial things that we do in all these hackathons is getting these developers to create what we call persona essence. So think of an ideal user in a marginalized community who would be a likely user of your solution.
So put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, and then we would get them to profile that persona and then be able to say that we can build this solution that is catering a person like this. Because there could be a question like, this person does not have, money to buy data frequently. How do you take care of that? If they do not have a very smartphone, how do you take care of that and things like that? So that is part of the design thinking process that is placed into these programs so that they are able to think thoroughly about these solutions.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. It also creates ownership.
Yes.
So when you work with a community, they feel like they're part of it.
Yes.
Are you able to share with us where the first ones of these hackathons are going to be?
So the first one will start off in Pretoria.
Okay.
Yeah, with UNISA as one of the key partners. And we'll host that UNISA, but it will be having participants from
the communities
from
in the
several
area.
townships in Pretoria. So, your Mamelodi, Soshangube, Mabopane, Atreshville, all those areas as such. So, well, we do have a bit of a preference to Pretoria because that's where gig culture was basically, created from.
But, fabulous. I did not know that.
Yeah, but what we have done in terms of localizing gig culture, we created what we call provincial developer ecosystems.
Okay.
Like in Limpopo, for an example, Gig Culture Limpopo is known as Limpopo Developer Ecosystem. There's Northern Cape, there's Western Cape, there's the Eastern Cape as well. And those really seek to ensure that the technological activities, the technological excitation, enlightenment really speak to such communities.
Yes.
We also created a model called ground champions, people who live in such communities that are able to drive the culture as such. But my most favorite program at Geek Culture is the Geek Culture Student Society program,
Okay.
which seeks to build technology and innovation leadership while in campus. So basically driving the geek culture on campus, and they do amazing work, in terms of helping enlighten students on open source technologies to be able to build solutions faster. They've got something called code clinics, where they help fellow students with coding issues.
Fabulous.
Yeah, they've got community programs as well, where they are enlightening the future as such. They've got, female geeks program, ensuring that there's inclusivity in the IT classroom, and ensuring that there's inclusiveness when these programs are happening. So that kind of leadership, because we want to be able to position and grow the next captains of industries.
Yes.
So the future geek culture, we use that program for that.
Tell me something. I'm very interested now that I'm listening to all the projects that you're doing. You don't see any barriers with you teach anybody. So it's not just people that are studying IT, for instance, it's anybody, right?
Yeah.
I just want to highlight the fact that in your mind, and I love the fact that you're making technology available to anybody out there.
Yeah. So from 2022, we had to really ensure that we have got no limits. So in some of the programs, because we do have digital literacy for development programs in marginalized communities. So those you'll find even an 80-year-old as part of that program.
Wow.
We also, engage with teachers in schools. And it was quite shocking that in some of the schools we had to help teachers create an email address for the very first time. And we are essentially out there, but geek culture is more centered towards development. So we do not necessarily do traditional trainings as such. It's always about where is the end user, what are their developmental needs, and then we help them elevate from there. So for an example, there was this lady in one of the rural communities. She is a domestic worker and wanted to open a cleaning business. So how do you go about that? So the team had to assist her. They helped her design a logo, they helped her design a poster, and also got her to register a business right there and there.
Oh, wow.
Just showing how a technology journey can go.
Yes.
And also in another community, there was a 76-year-old lady who was part of the digital literacy program. She asked us, "Can you teach me how to write a letter on a computer?" So it speaks to what do the people want? What does digital literacy mean to you, to your developmental needs? And that's where geek culture is structured against. Yeah.
This is very different. And I think maybe the questions I asked was more coming from an IT training perspective, and it's not what you do. You bring technology to people and you show people how technology can improve their daily lives, right? So is that a better description?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So with that, maybe just to touch more on collaboration, because we're always asked, why are you not working with the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies? Well, we would love to work with them, but we'll work with whoever wants to work with us. But from a strategy perspective, we actually prefer working with the Ministry for Public Service and Administration.
Really?
Yeah, simply because that speaks also to service delivery, to what the people want. We also prefer working with the Department of Social Development. And in the provinces, we've got partnerships with the Departments of Social Development because we want to understand, because whenever you go to these communities, you want to introduce people to technology, but someone will say, "But I'm hungry, I want to eat now."
Yes.
So we prefer to understand those dynamics as well. That's why we also do a lot of focus groups to understand the communities, understand what do the people need, what does digital literacy mean to them, and also how do you create programs that will help them to be able to participate in the digital world, to be able to find opportunities. So with that, normally the Departments of Social Development will then ask us, we're funding these NGOs in communities. Can geek culture teach them how to use the internet so that they can find opportunities for themselves? So we have positioned geek culture to speak to the needs of the people in the community as a primary thing. And then obviously from there, how do you then help you grow? I think I mentioned also that we monitor and nurture transitions of being a high school learner to tertiary to the job market.
Yes.
So we have a program called Future Gig Stars, looking at high school level. And with that, we've got a program called Youth ICT and Business Vacation Work Program, which is now in 6 provinces in South Africa. And that creates a platform for these younger ones from high school level. And there have been a number of them, over 27,000, that have gone through the program since 2014. And from there, we'll introduce them to technology. And then when they go to varsity, some of them actually lead the Gig Culture Student Society. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, obviously, they have to go to the job market as such. So those transitions, we have a way of building up the capacity. But what we have seen is at times, some of them don't even get to go to university or college, due to certain circumstances. But because of what we have introduced them to, and then they supplement that with certification. And then because of the skills you have acquired through the programs, you are able to then find yourself a job. There are countless examples of such young people that have gone through that journey as well. But all in all, gig culture is about development.
Yep. I see the role, and it's a crucial role. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody else doing what you're doing. It's pretty unique, and it's a really essential what you're doing. What I like most is that it's not just Gauteng or Cape Town or Durban. So most projects focus on the bigger cities, and I've always felt that there's a lot more we can do for the rural communities.
Yeah,
a lot
course.
more. So right now, I'm heading towards the end of our discussion, and I've really enjoyed talking to you. 2 things. The first one is there anything you're looking for right now for companies that are watching this, organizations that are watching this discussion between me and you? Is there any collaboration you're looking for right now, or how do companies get involved? What are you looking for? What kind of involvement are you looking for?
Okay, let's start off with CompTIA.
Oh, great. We're there.
Well, we have already started our partnership this year, obviously, through the IT Web Security Summit hackathon, of which I happen to chair. And, that hackathon is centered towards how do we bring together and also prepare talent for the industry directly.
Yes.
So it becomes a hiring platform for the industry, obviously. But the partnership with CompTIA really played a crucial role there to be able to then expose them to different kinds of certifications. And they were given opportunity to learn,
Yes.
And that is always exciting, obviously.
Yes.
But obviously we want the industry to come to these programs and be able to identify talent and hire from there. Obviously, we want them to be supporting the work that is basically happening. So the support would basically come in handy to be able to scale the programs in even more rural communities. We have been to the most rural communities in South Africa. We have studied, we understand the ecosystem. And it's quite a shame that from a digital literacy, one of our worries is that there's not a fully coordinated strategy from digital skills development. That's why you cannot really quantitate as to, this is the digital literacy level in this community as such. And when you look at digital literacy, we normally measure it against the UNESCO's digital literacy competency framework. And the reality on the ground is it's a blank picture, and we need the support to be able to scale this work. And we've got young technologists, the developers in South Africa, they are always ready to learn. You can put up a hackathon. In fact, the Gig Culture Annual Hackathon, we didn't even announce a prize up until the very end.
Really?
Yeah, but it was oversubscribed to a greatest level. We were so stressed because last year we ran out of food. But fortunately, this year we were able to manage things a little bit better, and the numbers were contained. But it's a good problem because it shows that the young people are ready to learn. They are ready to use technology to be able to develop the solutions. So we are also looking for the kind of partnerships that can enable these young developers to develop solutions. Part of building up the ecosystem as well, because you want these leaders to be able to come forward and be mentors.
So I'm hearing you're looking for people to roll up the sleeves and come get involved. You're looking for people to be mentors. You're looking for companies to get physically involved and offer services and help.
Fundamentally, yes. As a basic thing, there are different ways to be able to help the ecosystem grow.
Yes.
But the coordination and consolidation of the South African ecosystem tends to worry me as well. So we need to enhance the collaborative efforts and ensure that whatever program that is implemented is complementing a previous one. Because in the rural communities, they will tell you when you ask them, they will say that this agency, they were here, they told us about technology, they gave us pamphlets, but they never came back. And that creates gaps. And you don't even know what was taught there as such. So that's why I was talking about a coordinated national strategy on digital literacy as well. And efforts on cybersecurity as well, obviously, that's another area. So there needs to be coordinated strategies. But what we love is, and what we have done is to try force that all these hackathons that are happening, I'm sure you have heard of so many hackathons, but the ones that we facilitate, we ensure that security becomes part of the judging criteria, for an example, so that you are building up that secure by design mindset. So that needs to be another coordinated strategy to say that let's instill that mindset, but also let's instill the mindset of certification as well, so that they're able to upskill themselves, they're able to find different pathways in the sector.
Employment obviously is very important. We all know that education and employment is what helps to eradicate poverty. And that's a big problem we have in our country, especially in the rural areas. I think what you're doing is absolutely wonderful. I think what I've seen from recent events and meetings I've gone to, that every company is doing their own thing. And it's always, I think you touched on it, it's always a concern because it's so fragmented. So-and-so companies does their thing, so-and-so. So it's little drops in the ocean, but nobody's working together. And I think there's some move now to work with different departments in government to make it a bit more, coordinated. Everything that anybody's doing is obviously good as long as you do it properly. But like you say, going in and dropping a pamphlet and never coming back, that's not the way we want things to do. We're obviously going to link all the connections, how people can connect with Geek Culture and your teams, but we want to also talk to the young individual. Do you have a message for young people around technology, around careers in technology? What advice do you have for young people?
Okay. So firstly, when you're a starter, starting off in the industry, this sector can get overwhelming.
Yes.
Especially if you're attending conferences as well. It's good to attend conferences. Do attend conferences, but be a good consumer. Because it can get overwhelming. You can go to one conference or one workshop or a webinar as such. They will mention an exciting piece of technology, and then you want to go back and implement that. So at face value, from that perspective, be a good consumer. Always find your fit. Look what works for you. Look what is your role within the sector. What technologies are you choosing, or what stack are you choosing, and also stick to that. You need to be a master of your own craft. You need to be able to say that these are my strengths, these are my capabilities, this is how I can be able to navigate within the sector as such. Make friends, it's good. Make friends, ensure that you're collaborating, find people that you can work with to be able to grow yourself and expose yourself to what's out there. So find a way to ensure that you are always updated. Our friends at IT Web, obviously that they're always publishing the IT news as such. So read up. Always make it a point that you read up on what is happening, what is new, who is doing what, who is who, and be able to stay abreast with the latest. Most crucially as well, be a developer or a technologist that is beyond the surface. There are always new frameworks, new technologies coming out, but ensure that you understand the core fundamentals of such technologies. Don't be a surface developer, because that will come against you later on. Ensure that if there's a new JavaScript framework, understand JavaScript at least. So understand how that really works at the core of things. You know, the semantics, the syntax, and everything that has to do with that framework. So go beyond the surface in what you do. Always ask questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. What a great message. As CompTIA, and speaking for CompTIA, we are really looking forward to work with you again next year on the hackathon. I know Dr. Stanger is extremely excited and he loves supporting you and all the projects that you're doing. I know he spoke at one of your events recently, didn't he?
Yes. I think I did mention that. So he gave an international keynote address at the Geek Culture Annual Hackathon.
Fabulous. Thank you for inviting him.
Was great.
He absolutely loves talking at your events and he
Yeah.
loved being here. I think you bring excitement to tech. This is what I picked up at the IT Web Hackathon. It was just incredibly exciting. The kids were excited. The mentors were excited. It's not an age thing at all. It's just
No,
everybody's excited about tech. And about the kids, they were so motivating. Thank you so much again, Tiyani. It was really nice to chat to you. Clearly, geek culture is doing a lot of things out there. I hope that this discussion, and with us posting it on our social media, is going to attract some positive effects for you. We address two sides, obviously. The one side is the individual that's looking for work and starting their career, and you've given some really good advice in that area and some insights as well. And then on the other side, we have our corporate and training partners, businesses out there. I sincerely hope some of them would contact you and get involved. If there's anything that you would like us to help you with, you know where to get hold of me. We are most happy to support anything that you are doing.
No,
thank you so much, Tiyani. I know you're an extremely busy man. Thank you so much for prioritizing CompTIA today. Thank you. And that concludes our discussion with Tiyani. Mr. Tiyani Ngonyama is the COO and co-founder of Geek Culture. We will post some links to all their social media and how you can get hold of them. We sincerely hope that you're going to contact them, get involved, roll up your sleeves, see if you can help in some way. And for our young students who are getting into IT, contact your local Geek Culture office and see if there's some way that you can also get involved in tech. Thanks so much. Goodbye.